Shalom Aleichem, everyone. We're continuing Hachzeg's learning of the Pele Yoetz. Today is day number 14. We are in the chapter of Znus, of illicit relations and immorality, inappropriate behavior. And today we're going to do something different than we've done since the beginning of learning Hachzeg together. And that is that the topic of today's piece is a very, very sensitive subject matter and not appropriate. Hachzeg feels, and I concur, that it's not appropriate for a public forum like this to go through every word in the Pele Yoetz and to explain everything that it says. I do highly recommend that if you're learning along together with us, that you actually look inside to see what it says so you'll understand. But in the public world of online and the such, and different people watching and listening and different ages and the like, this is really sensitive subject matter, and a person should look at it on the inside for themselves. Read the words. You can look even at the notes. He explains things very nicely, but it's important that we don't overdo it on these words, and we'll just say basic ideas that are in today's learning. And if you want the details, look inside. We're going to get to the same issue in a few days when we get to the chapter of Zivug, which means marriage partners. It's going to get into some very sensitive nature there as well, and mature topics. And therefore, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to quickly describe some of the ideas. And if anybody wants to look deeper into it, they should take a look inside. And basically, the the importance of today's message is that we live in a world where there are many challenges and there are barriers of kedusha that stand in our way. There are taivas, there are desires that are really all around within the person and outside of the person. And every Jew has an obligation to the best of their abilities to be able to secure and protect their levels of kedusha, of sanctity, of purity, of holiness, and to lift themselves up out of the I guess the schmutz of this world, and be someone that is striving for kedusha and trying to be kedoshim to you, to try to be a holy person in the eyes of Hashem. And over here, without going into the details of what the subject matter is, I'll leave that up to you to see. But he does speak about a saita, which is not by chance. The hashkach is that mamish this week's Parshas Nasa, has the entire parsha, the entire story of the saita woman, a woman that was accused of being unfaithful to her husband, and he warned her, and she did not heed his warning, and he warned her, and she did not heed his warning, and he said, you know what, I have no choice but to take you to the Kayan in the Beis Hamikdash and let them run their testing on you to see if you're faithful or you're unfaithful. And if she is, Baruch Hashem, everything is amazing. But if she is unfaithful, then she explodes, and the rest of history is not a very pretty picture. And over there, the Gemara tells us the following idea. In these words, we could read inside, Haraya Saita Bikukula, someone who sees a Saita woman in her destruction. She exploded. Yazir Asman Yain, he should take a neder upon himself, a vow that he's not going to drink wine. He becomes a Nazir. And the Gemara says, the reason is because wine leads to licentiousness, and it leads to lightheadedness, and it can make a person lose themselves, and therefore a person has to always be on guard and always be careful to make sure that they are the guardians of their precious neshama that HaKadosh Baruch has given them. They are the guardians of the kedusha that HaKadosh Baruch is imbued inside of our souls, that He wants from us. We should always be looking and striving to raise up higher and higher and higher in these worlds of purity, and to steer clear of the worlds of negative impurity and the like. And in that way, Be'ez Hashem, a person will find favor in the eyes of Hashem. And he concludes the chapter by saying over here, "V'lo yisasur achrei einechem," Like we know in the Shema we say every day, do not stray after your hearts and after your eyes that will cause you to be zaynim, that will cause you to do immoral and inappropriate things. Because the eyes and the heart are trace sarsuri daver, they are like the accomplices to sin, and therefore a person has to be careful. A person should be quite careful to make sure that they don't get drawn after this world. Again, we live in a complicated generation with the advent of the iPhone and the advent of social media and TikTok and you name it, Snapchat and Facebook and all of the things, Instagram and videos and screens everywhere that you try to go to a kosher restaurant just to have a nice meal and there's a screen on that's playing things inappropriate. You turn on the websites, you think you're getting some good news over here so you can keep up to date with what's going on, and they put videos of not dressed sneers women that are on there and inappropriate people that are saying inappropriate things. Why do our children and why do we ourselves need to see such things to get our news? Just it's better just read it someplace without all the videos, without all the pictures of the not sneers woman who is the representing the Speaker of the House, or the like. We don't need that. And yet it's all around us, it's everywhere that we look, and therefore we have to try our best to maintain our spiritual and our moral dignity so that we are always finding favor in the eyes of Hashem. All the best.